Welcome back to the shadows. You know, that unsettling space between reality and nightmare. That's where we thrive. I'm Sam, your guide through the chilling unknown. And tonight we delve into the terrifying world of haunted objects. These aren't your everyday antiques. These are vessels possessed by something sinister, something hungry to latch onto the unsuspecting. Lock your doors, turn off the lights, and prepare to be thoroughly spooked. We're about to explore 3 tales of terror that prove the supernatural can linger within the most unassuming objects. Our first story takes us back to the Victorian era, a time of elegance and refinement, but also a time shrouded in superstition and fear. Imagine, if you will, a grand manor perched atop a windswept hill. Inside, a young girl named Anya received a gift. A beautiful porcelain doll with rosy cheeks, piercing blue eyes, and a dress of the finest silk. This wasn't just any doll. This was a custom-made masterpiece, crafted with love by Anya's doting father. At first, Anya was smitten. The doll quickly became her constant companion, accompanying her on picnics, tea parties, and tucked in beside her every night. But something strange began to happen. Anya would wake in the dead of night, a cold shiver racing down her spine, to find the doll staring at her with an unnervingly lifelike intensity. Its blue eyes seemed to pierce through her, filled with a malice that sent chills down her young spine. As days turned into weeks, the incidents grew more disturbing. Anya's once cheerful disposition darkened, replaced by a brooding silence. She complained of nightmares, vivid and terrifying, where the doll would come alive, its porcelain skin turning cold and clammy, its sweet smile twisting into a grotesque sneer. The once loving doll whispered threats in Anya's ear, promising her pain and misfortune. Servants whispered of strange occurrences in the house, disembodied giggles echoing through the halls, objects moving mysteriously on their own, and the distinct feeling of unseen eyes watching their every move. The once peaceful manor had become steeped in an atmosphere of dread. Fear gripped Anya's family. Desperate to help their daughter, they tried everything. Priests were summoned, blessings were bestowed, but the doll's hold on Anya only seemed to tighten. Then tragedy struck. Anya's father, the very man who had commissioned the doll, was killed in a freak accident. He was thrown from his horse, the animal spooked by what seemed like nothing more than a gust of wind. Grief-stricken and terrified, Anya's mother finally acknowledged the truth. The doll was cursed. Desperate to break its hold, she tried to destroy it, hurling it into the fireplace, watching as the flames licked at its porcelain skin. But the doll remained untouched, its malevolent blue eyes glowing even brighter in the firelight. Driven to the brink, Anya's mother took the doll to the edge of town, burying it deep within the hallowed ground of a forgotten graveyard. She prayed for peace, for an end to the nightmare that had gripped her family. But the curse of the doll was not so easily broken. Years later, a young boy playing in the graveyard unearthed the doll, its porcelain features still pristine, its blue eyes still holding that same unsettling glint. He brought it home to his little sister, unaware of the darkness he had unleashed. And so, the cycle of misfortune began anew, fueled by the malevolence trapped within the cursed doll's unblinking gaze. This tale takes us to a dusty antique shop crammed with forgotten relics and whispered secrets. The air hangs heavy, thick with the weight of time and untold stories. At the back, shrouded in shadow, stood an ornately carved full-length mirror. Its silver backing was aged and tarnished, obscuring the reflection with a hazy, ghostly film. This mirror held within its depths a darkness, a portal to forgotten horrors. One day, a young woman named Eleanor wandered into the shop. She was drawn to the mirror, captivated by its antique beauty and mystery. The shopkeeper warned her against buying it, speaking of a curse and restless spirits. But Eleanor dismissed his warnings as superstition. She purchased the mirror and brought it home. At first, everything seemed normal. But soon, Eleanor started seeing fleeting shadows in the mirror's reflection. One evening, she glanced at the mirror and froze. Staring back at her was a young woman, her face contorted in a silent scream. The vision vanished, leaving Eleanor shaken. She tried to rationalize it, blaming fatigue. But the visions grew stronger, more vivid. Driven to desperation, Eleanor tried to destroy the mirror, but even shattered, the mirror's evil lingered, a chilling reminder of the darkness within. Chapter 3. The Possessed Painting. Our final tale takes us to a sprawling art gallery, its walls adorned with masterpieces from across the ages. Amongst the vibrant landscapes and serene portraits hung a painting unlike any other. It depicted a somber, almost haunting scene, a lone figure cloaked in shadow, standing in a desolate, otherworldly landscape. The figure's face was obscured, hidden from view, lending an air of mystery and unease to the artwork. This painting, known only as The Visitor, had a reputation that preceded it. Whispers followed it from gallery to gallery, tales of strange occurrences and inexplicable phenomena surrounding the artwork. Security guards reported feeling a cold, unseen presence when near the painting, their breath catching in their throats as if an invisible hand squeezed tight. Visitors claimed to feel uneasy, a sense of dread washing over them as they stood before the canvas, drawn in by the shadowed figure's enigmatic gaze. One evening, as the gallery prepared to close for the night, a young art student named Daniel lingered behind. He was captivated by the visitor, drawn to its haunting beauty and the unsettling emotions it evoked within him. As the last of the staff departed, leaving Daniel alone with the artwork, the gallery lights flickered and dimmed. A shiver ran down Daniel's spine, a primal instinct warning him of unseen danger. He turned to leave, but his feet seemed rooted to the spot, his gaze drawn back to the painting. As he watched, transfixed, the shadowed figure in the painting moved. It shifted slightly, its hidden face turning towards Daniel, as if aware of his presence. Terror gripped Daniel's heart, his breath catching in his throat. He tried to rationalize the experience, to convince himself it was a trick of the light, an overactive imagination playing tricks in the dimly lit gallery. But deep down he knew the truth, the painting was alive. Night after night, Daniel returned to the gallery, drawn back to the possessed painting like a moth to a flame. He watched as the shadowed figure moved with increasing frequency, its movements becoming more fluid, more lifelike. Daniel's fascination morphed into obsession. He neglected his studies, his friends, his life outside the gallery, fading into insignificance compared to the mystery of the visitor. One night, as Daniel stood before the painting, lost in its haunting depths, he felt a cold hand grip his shoulder. He spun around, his heart pounding in his chest, to come face to face with the figure from the painting. It stood before him, no longer confined to the canvas, its features shrouded in shadow, its eyes glowing with an eerie, otherworldly light. Daniel stumbled back, fear constricting his throat, his mind struggling to comprehend the impossible scene unfolding before him. The figure stepped closer, its presence radiating an oppressive, almost suffocating aura. Daniel tried to scream, but no sound escaped his lips. He was paralyzed, frozen in place by the sheer terror that emanated from the being before him. As the figure reached out, its shadowy hand engulfing Daniel's face, he understood the true nature of the horror he had unleashed. The visitor was not merely a painting, it was a portal, and he had just become the latest soul claimed by its darkness. Thank you for braving the darkness with us tonight. We've journeyed through tales of cursed dolls, haunted mirrors, and possessed paintings, each a chilling reminder that the line between our world and the supernatural can be terrifyingly thin. If you enjoyed tonight's descent into darkness, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more spine-chilling stories. And if you dare, share your own encounters with the unexplained in the comments below. Until next time, sleep tight and be careful what antiques you bring into your home. You never know what might be lurking within.